Okay, guys, we're back on this beautiful Sunday. We're doing 2 videos today because I started another game this weekend. This isn't like a new release. It's a newer release, but it was something that I kind of wanted to check out for a while, and I just decided to dive right in. And it's Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I know this game kind of had some mixed press initially when it came out with all the game-breaking bugs and the lack of QA testing and releasing it on previous gen systems, which didn't go well at all. Now we're, I think, about 2 years forward from that, maybe a little over 2 years. The game, I think they fixed most of the bugs and everything. I mean, they're on version like 1.6 of the release, so I believe the builds are pretty stable at this point. I've run into a couple bugs, but nothing major. But anyways, let's get back into it. Let's get back into the game. I'll give you my thoughts, and yeah, and we'll just take it down. So, Cyberpunk. I think this game is pretty awesome. I was a little hesitant to get into it because of, like I said, all the reports of the issues that they had initially when coming out with the game, the lack of QA testing, which is still kind of apparent, but it's okay. It's okay. So I was a little hesitant, didn't really want to pay like full price for a beta, so I didn't get it when it came out. I thought about it, but I passed. And then last week I watched like a couple episodes of Cyberpunk Edge Runner on Netflix, and that kind of piqued my interest because I was like, whoa, this world is pretty crazy. Like the corpos and all, like the just the dystopian, corporate future, your classic cyberpunk landscape. I was just like, wow, this is really interesting. So I'm watching Cyberpunk Edge Runner get on Steam. I'm like, how much is this? $59.99. I'm like, shit, I don't want to pay $60 for a 2-year-old game that was filled with bugs that I'm pretty sure was like 60% off at one point on Steam. And so I wait. A couple days go by. I'm still thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about the game and how I want to check it out. So I go on Humble Bundle. I buy it on Humble Bundle, and I thought Humble Bundle connected to Steam. So I was like, okay, bought it there, but it's connected to GOG. Now I know I'm going on a real tangent here. A real tangent. Long story short, bought the game on GOG, wanted it on Steam. I didn't, because I was thinking I might want to play it on Steam Deck. Then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I haven't played a game on my gaming PC in a really long time. My drivers were like a year out of date. I was like, let's just keep the GOG and we'll play it on the PC and not worry about Steam Deck. And I know I can install it, GOG, on the Steam Deck through that like busted ass like Linux UI that they have, but like I've run into issues with the Steam Deck where I have to like, factory restore it from like a USB because I don't know, man. I've run into a lot of issues with that thing, and so I wanted it on Steam so I could play it on the deck, but then it was just like, you know what, who cares? Let's just play it on the computer and go from there. So I started it up on Friday, 2 days ago, and ran into some issues getting it running. I haven't played a game on my PC in like over a year, so drivers, all that good stuff. But then it fired right up, and I'm in there, and holy shit, that is a pretty cool game, I must say. I'm seeing like I'm about 10 hours in, and I'm just seeing so much Cyberpunk references in there. I mean, I just saw Keanu, and then you're getting the throwbacks to Johnny Mnemonic, how like they have to freaking put the data chip in to keep it at room temperature, like, and then the brain dances, throwbacks to Strange Days with like jacking in and wire tripping and stuff. Like, I mean, just all the great cyberpunk classics. Not to mention, like, the world looks like it's just very Blade Runner esque. It's there's a lot. There's a lot of cool shit in that game, and they really they being CD Project Red, they really went above and beyond with this game. Now, granted, it does have some bugs, but it's massive, and like just the scale of this thing is crazy. Like when I first started, you can walk into elevators. All the elevators have TVs, and I'm just like watching TV, watching like one of the weird like your news interviews on there, and they're wild. They're trippy as shit. Like it's just the amount of like little side stuff in that game is just mind blowing. Now I do have some like things that I didn't like so much. The main thing being driving with a keyboard. I started getting the hang of it like later on, like during my session yesterday, but now they switch you over to a motorcycle, which I like a lot better. I think the motorcycle's a lot easier to maneuver. But I was just like having a really hard time staying on the road. I'm just terrible at driving with the freaking WASD. It just doesn't feel right to me to hold W, and I don't know. It's weird. So the driving was kind of one thing that I was iffy on, and then I ran into like one bug where like the elevator wouldn't work in this one spot, and I had to load it, and then the elevator worked again. So I don't know what caused it. I like equipped weapons, and then the elevator wouldn't load. So I didn't equip the weapons, and the elevator loaded. So the game is like, it's a little buggy. I think there are still some bugs in there, but for the most part, it's been pretty smooth. I have my machine is like a 1080 Ti. It's 5 years old at this point, but it's it still runs it pretty well. No ray tracing or anything like that, but I mean the graphics are phenomenal. It's truly a next gen game, like truly next gen. I don't know why they even tried to release this on PS4 and Xbox One. I mean money, I suppose. I mean, definitely money, but you know, I think now that the game is kind of removed from the bad press of the initial release, and it's got that Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix has like, it's like, I think Crunchyroll reviewed it as the top anime of the year. So that I think has helped kind of spur some more interest. Certainly got me more interested in the game. So I don't know. I'm just really enjoying it. I think it's a really fun game. I see like shades of it reminds me a lot of when I played like Deus Ex Human Revolution years ago. I guess that was like 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. Almost 15 years ago. I think that game was from like 2010 or something, 2011. So yeah, I mean, I haven't played. It's interesting how great of a genre cyberpunk is, and how like it feels like how few games we get. We get our pockets. You know, maybe it's just because I'm not paying attention though. That I'm sure there's so many cyberpunk inspired titles on the PC that I have no idea about that they just come out with. So I'm sure the genre is getting a lot of love. But, you know, for me, I haven't played, like, I love Cyberpunk being the genre and the overall kind of, you know, world that Cyberpunk 2077 is set in. I love that Cyberpunk genre. I just love that stuff. So playing this is a real treat. I mean, I've never played a CD Projekt Red game. I've never played any of the Witcher titles, so this is my first experience with just their battle system and the character customization and all of the... I mean, it's deep. It's deep, and it's awesome. Like, there's so much different strategy that you can take going through these like missions. You can sneak, you can hack, you can just go in there guns blazing. You can do whatever you want. It's really, really cool. So I'm playing the game on normal, so there's a little bit of a challenge with the bosses and stuff, which I like. I think it kind of helps to keep me engaged, and I'm loving these battles, like where I was playing last night and my hands were sweating on the keyboard and the mouse when I'm in the battles, and the music that they play, it's just like really, really hard industrial house music, just and it's just like you're just in the zone when you're in those gunfights. It's something. It's a fun experience. It gets my adrenaline going. So I'm enjoying the hell out of that game, and I think it's really fun. And it's making me. I'm gonna go back and reread the Sprawl trilogy because I can't stop thinking about Neuromancer the whole time I'm playing this freaking game with the deck and the freaking jacking in. Like William Gibson, man, William freaking Gibson, like that. It's just it really. I just forgot how much I love this shit, and it just smacked me in the face, just with everything, and it all came back. I've been off Cyberpunk stuff. I haven't played, that's not true. Police knots, pretty Cyberpunk right there. So it's not true. So I mean, I'm still like, but it's just awesome to see how far the genre has come. Like thinking about what they did in Police Knots and the story in Police Knots, and like, there's just parallels there, man. Like the Japanese Zaibatsu, like the Arasaka Corporation. It's just like, it's cool, man. It's freaking cool. It is a cool story. It's a cool game. I'm loving it. And like, fuck. And Keanu Reeves is in it, man. I couldn't believe that. I remembered reading that, but I totally forgot. That's why it's kind of cool that I almost completely forgot about this game. And then I saw that anime. Like, I don't think I probably would have played this game if it wasn't for the anime. I saw the anime and I was like, huh. That world, like the little bits that I could pick up from reading between the lines in the anime, I was like, I'm interested in that. I'm interested to see more of that world and just experience it through the game. And whew, boy, am I glad that I'm playing that game, because it's awesome. It is awesome. Like wow. Like, wow. So I'm enjoying the heck out of that. It's kind of like a polar opposite from Season Letter to the Future. So it's kind of interesting that I'm playing them at the same time. Granted, I started Season, and then this freaking urge, this unnatural, ungodly urge to play Cyberpunk took over me, and now I'm just going with the flow, man. I'm just going with the flow, because the way I see it, if you're hyped for something, just go for it, man. Follow the hype. Ride the hype train, because you might not be hyped for it again. The hype might die down, and you might just be on to other things with your interests in your life. And so when you find you've got that burning desire to check something out, check it out. Go check it out, because you're going to enjoy it more when you've got that burning desire. So, and I'm telling you, I've definitely got that burning desire for Cyberpunk, because I want to play it more right now. I just want to play it like all day. So I mean, yeah, I'm fighting the urge, because I actually have to do things today. But it's an awesome game, and I'm loving it. I am loving it, and all the references in there are just all the nods to all the classics, all the awesome cyberpunk movies of the 90s, the 80s. Just there. It's all there. I mean, Snow Crash references in there. Like, I mean, dude, it's awesome. It's so cool. So if you're a fan of the cyberpunk genre and you were kind of, maybe like me, you're a little skeptical based on the bad press of the initial release, I can tell you, if you're interested, don't pay full price for the game. You know, maybe if you're real interested, like I was, go on Humble Bundle, get it for half off. Or if you're just have a passing interest, wait for it to be on sale on Steam for like 75% off, because that'll happen too. And just get it for 75% off, and you'll enjoy it. It's a good game. It's a good game. Now, you'll definitely want to make sure your graphics card is up to date, because you'll run into some funny errors with the launch of the game, obviously, as you will with most modern PC games, but just want to keep that in mind, because I'm coming like off of using old consoles so much, and I haven't played a new PC game since, geez, this is sad. I think the last new PC game I played on my PC that was actually new, it was the weekend it came out, I played Outer Worlds. The not any of the expansions, just original Outer Worlds, and that was the last game single player game I've seriously got into on my PC. I played a little Final Fantasy 14 in there in between, but I couldn't ever get into that. So, I mean, Outer Worlds that was a while ago. That was a while ago. So, yeah. But I'm loving it, and I'm happy that I'm back on my PC. It's really fun just getting into a PC game, turning all the lights off. You know, I have a decent 2.1 2.1 clip system, so you can kind of crank up the bass and just it's immersive. It's immersive, man. It's real immersive, and it's real fun. So I'm enjoying it. I just wanted to put this video out to just talk about how much I'm enjoying it and how much I really like the game, and I think it's really cool. So, turn it back to you guys. What do you think of Cyberpunk 2077? Have you played it? What are your thoughts? I'd be interested to hear. I mean, I know it's somewhat of a polarizing game at this point. I think the reviews are fairly positive now that the bugs have been, ironed out, but at the same time, I think that, and I know from experience, with No Man's Sky, I can't go back and play that game because I put too much time in it when it's released, and it was an unfinished, buggy pile of shit. And, is that how you feel about Cyberpunk? Because I could totally understand that. I could totally understand that. So let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to, I'll respond. I just would love to keep the discussion going. So thanks again for coming down to Brian's Basement, checking out another episode, and we will see you next time in Brian's Basement.